welcome everybody. It's good to be able to provide an update to you here on North Arrow and what we've been up to over the last year, and then what our plans are going forward. So I'm going to be making some forward-looking statements, so please keep that in mind. We're a venture-listed exploration company based here in Vancouver. Our symbol is NAR, and the focus of a lot of our work has been in Northern Canada. That's a place that we know very well. We're very comfortable there. We have a lot of experience in making discoveries in Northern Canada, developing them and evaluating them. I'm not going to go through the background of everybody involved in the company, but please come by our booth out on the floor, and happy to take you through that background. But I'm going to spend more time just talking about our projects and what we've been up to over the last year, which has marked a bit of a change for North Arrow. We've been focused on diamond and gold projects over about the last 10 years or so, and this time last year we made a bit of a change and focused on lithium. And essentially we were just looking at what was happening in the lithium space, companies getting into it, in some cases paying some pretty big bucks to acquire projects in the Yellowknife region of the NWT, and these are opportunities that we were aware of and that we could acquire just by staking. So in the last year we've gone from 0 lithium projects, we now have 4 of them, and that includes 3 projects in the NWT that all host spodumene pegmatites. So spodumene is the lithium mineral we're interested in when we're looking for hard rock deposits. They're drill ready. We put permits in place, and in the case of our LDG and our McKay projects, we have our exploration camp in place as well. So the 3 main projects that are drill ready are DeStaffney, which we first announced the acquisition of this time last year, and then we followed up on that with the acquisition of our LDG and McKay projects that are located a little bit further north of Yellowknife. DeStaffney was the first that we acquired. It's in a region known as the Yellowknife Pegmatite Province. The standard bearer company in that region is Lift Power, and they've quite publicly said that they're drilling to define 100 million ton spodumene resource in the Yellowknife area. Gives you an idea of the size potential of these deposits when we think about some of the other active areas in Canada, like in James Bay. DeStaffney is a property that we acquired because it was available for staking. It was a historic mine. It was an area that was mined for tantalum and niobium, and our group actually evaluated this same area for tantalum about 30 years ago. We were aware of it, we staked it, and then over the last year we went in with the rock saw, confirmed that the 2 main pegmatites, Moose 1 and 2, host the lithium mineralization that we want to see with good grades north of 1% LiO2. So when we're talking about spodumene, that's an important number. That's kind of a good threshold that you want to see for a deposit, is that north of 1% assay level. We rediscovered 2 other pegmatites, Moose 3 and 4, and then also did some work looking at the spodumene content, in particular of the Moose 2 pegmatite, confirmed that it's high quality, very low iron, and is amenable to optical sorting technologies, which we think could be very important when we look at the location of this deposit right on the shore of Great Slave Lake. The goal here is to drill these pegmatites off and see if we can produce a resource that could produce then a spodumene concentrate that could get shipped south by barge to Hay River, which is where Railhead is, and then sold to the North American market. So a very straightforward evaluation proposal and process here. At the same time that we acquired DeStaffney, we also said, well, we're going to look at some of our exploration database in this area, frankly from a lot of the diamond work that we've done, and look at other opportunities. We're focused on an area called the McKay-Elmer domain, which is geologically identical to Yellowknife. And in doing that work, we say looking at our exploration database, sometimes that just means going through old files, and that's what we did here. This is an old map produced by the Geological Survey of Canada on mapping that was done in the 1940s and 50s. And what we noted on that map is there was 3 spodumene pegmatites located on it. 2 of those in the northern part of the area actually sat on one of our diamond properties. So that property went from being our LDG diamond property to our LDG lithium property. The 3rd area was on open ground. We went up in June, we confirmed those pegmatites were there, we staked them, and that became our McKay project. Important thing about all these properties is they sit right along the alignment of the winter road that connects Yellowknife every winter with the diamond mines in the Lac de Gras area. That being on transportation infrastructure when looking at spodumene pegmatite deposits is really important. The winter road it's real transportation infrastructure. It's seasonal, but it's there, and it's going to continue to be developed and built every year for the foreseeable future. And the 2 main showings on LDG in particular, you can see the winter road. It was within about a kilometer of the historic alignment of that road, and the outcrops at the northern end of this belt standing on a spodumene pegmatite, you can see the wind farm at the Diavik mine on the horizon in the north and the ore pile. So we're near mining infrastructure, which is really important. So LDG itself, it covers about a 20-kilometer corridor of prospective geology. We're coming up on about a dozen pegmatites that we've identified along that trend. There's two pegmatites in particular that we're most interested in, SD2 and SD4, that host significant spodumene mineralization. This is just an image that shows SD2. It is a series of pegmatites that host spodumene, very similar to what we see in the Yellowknife district. One thing that's different, though, is very low profile outcrops, coarse grain spodumene mineralization, so that is similar, but a lot of overburden. So we don't see these pegmatites really well at surface. It's a very flat terrain, and there's plenty of opportunity for these pegmatites to extend along strike beneath that overburden with additional drilling. So this is a still of the main outcrop at SD2, looking to the northwest with the SD4 pegmatite on the horizon, which is the other main spodumene pegmatite drill target that we have. The area in between is very much covered in overburden, and again, plenty of opportunity for additional discovery. Up at SD4 is a series of again, low-profile outcrops of the spodumene pegmatites, very coarse spodumene crystals. At our booth, we have a really cool example of spodumene mineralization from this outcrop. But just plenty of opportunity for these pegmatites to extend beneath overburden and have the same sort of size potential, as I said, as we're seeing in the Yellowknife district. The other property we acquired, McKay, we landed on it in June, confirmed the one pegmatite that had been mapped by the GSC, and then in the fall we identified by prospecting another one that we call MK3, about 4.5 kilometers to the east. MK1, again, really good grades, seeing north of that 1% Li2O, which is really important. One difference is that MK1 is actually a bit of a topographic high. It's a series of 1 to 10 meter wide pegmatite dikes that need to get drilled. And we wonder if that fact that we're not in a recessive area, that we have this topographic high, could mean that there's a fair bit more pegmatite at depth. The only way to test that is with additional drilling. And then MK3, as I mentioned, was discovered by prospecting in September. We followed up very quickly with some initial sampling, seeing very good grades. Again, 10 to 20 meter wide pegmatites, good strike extent, plenty of opportunity for them to extend along strike. So what we're seeing now, and we've gone from having no projects to having these two main properties in the Lac de Gras area, as well as our DeStaffney project, that are drill ready. And one of the comments we get is, well, it's the Northwest Territories, isn't it remote? Isn't that going to be tough? And this is just a good photo to kind of compare it to the James Bay region, which is the highest profile spodumene pegmatite district in Canada right now. These two maps are at the same scale. The map on the right is from Patriot Battery Metals 43101 report. The distances are really similar. One thing that we do have, I think, when we talk about work in the NWT, is we're very close to Yellowknife, and Yellowknife is a mining center. It's supported mining activities for decades. First gold mining, the diamond mines. It's a seat of government, both Indigenous government and the territorial government. It is a very good place to base ourselves from, and then we have Railhead that's in Hay River. And so just overall, when comparing the two districts, the distances are really very similar, which is, I think, just an important thing to keep in mind. And so that's where we are. So we've gone from having what we think is actually an excellent diamond portfolio. It's a portfolio that we've set aside for the time being of projects and resources that will stay there. Tenure is secure on those projects. And in a very short period of time, we've utilized our understanding and our ability to work in the north and acquire projects quickly to now have 3 properties that are drill ready with confirmed spodumene pegmatites with plus 1% Li2O type assays that have never been drilled. And there's just not many companies that over this period have said, we're going to get into lithium and acquire these projects. We've been able to acquire them by staking. And all 4 projects we have, if we include our grassroots Bathurst project in Nunavut, we've been able to acquire for $60,000. And this has been in a market where other companies have been spending millions to acquire partial interests in projects. So it's a pretty good place to be. If you're interested in lithium and you think that, yes, the market has come off and it might be a time to start looking at projects and companies, I really think that North Arrow needs to be, at the very least, on your watch list. So thanks for listening to this. We're, as mentioned, on the TSX Venture NAR, about 176 million shares outstanding. Insiders own over a quarter of the company, and we've been in this current structure now for about a dozen years. So that represents insiders buying in financings and in the market over that period of time. This isn't cheap founder shares. We've been around for a while. We're dedicated professionals that are looking to make discoveries, and we really think we have a leg up now in the lithium space. So thanks for that, and please come by our booth. We've got some pretty cool rocks there to take a look at.